You know, these days everybody got goals, everybody got visions. And when you really have a dream, you know, you stick to it, you build on it. You don't try to make it a certain way because you need more money or because of the people you know or how fast people are growing. The way you go and the way your path is set is different because it becomes a passion, it becomes a dream. And when you really work at it, when you really try, it becomes way bigger than you ever thought it would be. Dream.
Zeus, what's going on, man?
I'm chilling, man. How you?
Good, good. It's getting warm. It's getting cold. I was having the same issue too.
Yeah.
Everybody growing hair now.
But give like the people who you are and basically what you do, what your dream is.
Okay, so my name is Kiara and my Instagram is Carouslands. I've been doing photography for the past 7 years, and it's called. This is my first interview. I'm a second generation Dominican Cuban American. What's it called? I don't know. I love photography. I love the sense of telling stories. I feel like ever since I was like 10 years old, I wanted to get into the arts, but I didn't know what direction to go into it.
AKA Chino. My dream is obviously to be on the stage of on a pedestal of many great fighters. I'm a boxer, so my dream is to hopefully fight one of the best boxers in the world. But my dream is also to see young kids who've been through tough situations like myself come back from that and know that they can still be successful in their own ways.
I think my uncle actually inspired me to get into photography because he was a director, and I will always come to his shoots all the time. And I guess there's one moment I went to his shoot and like he gave me some great advice about like sometimes you don't need to be like the beautiful girl in the room. Sometimes you could be the person behind the camera making everyone else look beautiful. So it's like I feel like that moment it made me feel like, oh, I want to do that. Like I want to be a photographer and be able to make people feel beautiful, make people feel confident, but at the same time I want to tell their story, give them a voice in a photograph, whether it's about someone that's from the Bronx or someone that skates or someone that like loves to do dancing or anything that they're passionate about. I feel like I always want to give that insight in my photographs to tell that story about them. So,
like everybody been through their own little things and they feel like life is over. They feel like they're at the bottom, not knowing that if they still breathing, they still got another chance at opportunity. So that's really why I'm doing it, to show inspiration, to continue my dream, to stay in shape. And I love to box. I love to be in the ring. I love to see what I got. You know what I mean? Throughout the rounds, out of 3 minute rounds. I just love to see my full potential. And boxing is not an easy sport, and my life always been about fighting and going through obstacles, and not fighting in the negative way. Fighting as in like fighting my own battles, fighting things, even if with school and things with family, things with relationships, things with just life itself. Life is a fight, and you got to get through it, and the better man is gonna win. And if you let that opponent or let whatever life throws at you knock you down and don't get up, you will stay there forever. So that's why I went also back into boxing.
Nah, that's a fact too, because a lot of people don't understand that. Like, it sounds like you took the boxing and instead of just leaving it at the gym, you used it towards life, period, whether it's school, family, relationships. I think people should understand that balance with boxing, because it's aggressive. Like, people could be, you know, it could be too much. And if you don't even know how to balance that within yourself, then, you know, it's hard. Like, and then I understand that, not because we family, but even from the outside, like, you can see how, you know, boxing, it's not just boxing for you, it's more than that. It's something, you know, you don't even care if it's $1 coming in or not, you just want to do it.
You know, all these great guys that's coming up now, we see them as coming up in this game, and I just loved it. I love the sport. I love the energy in it. I love the name that you get out of it. I love the encouragement it gives me in life. I love that it gives me a certain confidence in life, that I know that I could get out of certain situations at any time I want. And it's just great to know, you know what I mean? Because that's the first thing. It's just your hands is your number one thing. Like, we use our hands for everything. Like, we always got to make sure that we can always defend ourselves. So that's maybe one thing.
All the way back. You talking about like caveman era was like niggas come in your cave. You gotta fight. You gotta fight and shit.
Yeah, this is our first. Yeah. This is our first line of our natural things. So you know what I mean? It's natural. Like, our first thing is to react. Like, whoa.
Yeah, put your hands up.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like, we have to know that. So it's like, that's what got me close to it. And just watching great people, like good people come out of the sport.
Personally, I just kind of like, the only change I can say is that like I record my music in my room now. So like, I have a little setup where I can record a lot of my verses. Yeah, so like, it's not as much pressure. Like, if I got something that I really like, I could just get it done. But I think ultimately, like, during this time, I just really used the time, especially towards the beginning of it, like early last year. Like, I really just used that time to focus on just writing new songs and getting in the zone and creating more. Because I don't write all the time. Like, I'm not like, people think I write every day. I don't.
I
might
definitely
go without writing. Yeah.
Because it seems like you just have something new to talk about in a different way. How is it that you get in it? Is it you kind of just like have a plan, or you just like, I just feel like getting this out there today? How is it you going about it? Are you formulating?
You mean like releasing music, or like?
I guess, yeah, release it, because nowadays it's like people have been doing, like, you doing the freestyle. So it seems like you just have a lot, like, to just say out of your chest while still maintaining that album that you're trying to focus on. So is it like something you planned, or it's just when you feel like speaking from your heart, you just do it and put it out there?
I don't plan it. I speak it from my heart. But I think what it is that when I do have a spurt of writing a lot, I write a lot of rhymes. And then I won't write a lot of rhymes for a minute unless I hear a song or somebody asks me for a feature. But I have a spurt. And so when I get in my spurts, then I just got stuff and I got ideas. And a lot of times I'll have ideas and they'll just sit in the vault. They'll just sit in the vault. And then while they're sitting in the vault, eventually they'll come back around. Like, I might hear the perfect beat for them, and I'm like, oh, this is how I'm gonna do this song on this. So that's usually what it is. I mean, yeah, like I speak when I feel the need to. Like, for example, the project I'm about to drop is like, you heard a really early build of it. It's
I was
way
gonna
crazy.
say, is it the same one?
No, it's the same one, but the build is different. Like, a lot of those different songs, and it's crazier. I think it's way crazier. As a matter of fact, I'm working on some merch, and this is like one of the prototypes for the merch. They're trying to figure out how to. It's like a heart with a tag on it. It says free. And the song is yeah, and the song is called TRL, Total Request Love, and it's basically just about like how niggas be afraid to show love. Like, people just are afraid to. And the song came from real shit that happened to me. And so sometimes, like, real shit that happened, I write a song and then I just sit the song, because I wrote that song maybe a year or two ago. I sit the song down and I just let it sit. And the songs that I usually use are the ones that their potency, they don't lose their potency. So some songs, like, I'll write it and I'm like, this is fire for like a week or two, and then like a month or 2, 3 later, I'm like, this is not as fire as I thought it was. It's good, but it's not as fire. The songs that I use usually are like, they just potent. Like, this shit gonna stay potent for a while. So that's really what it is.
You've got like a criteria then, what type of music you're gonna put out. You kind of take a feel for it first.
Yeah, I definitely do. I have to sit with it for a little while. Sometimes I gotta be careful, because if I sit with it too much, I just won't like it, because I'm sitting with it too long. So I listen to it a lot, then I give it a break, and then I come back and listen to it again. But that's kind of like that's just how I particularly be moving.
How did it affect you and your work? What happened to everybody last year?
So it was an interesting, like, time for me, for sure. I think it's because, like, oh, sorry. Shoot, someone called me. My bad.
Dizzy.
So anyway, like I was saying, it was a really weird time, very uncomfortable time, because I think I was in school and everyone was sent home. So then I was like, okay, like this is weird. Like I have stuff to do, I have brands to shoot. So then I think coming home and just being back in this small small space where like it was just me. So there was a lot of moments I had to like learn a lot about myself, being alone for like everyone else and just being with my family. And I feel like it challenged me, because then I was like feeling very emotional, feeling very vulnerable. So then I kind of just took that like vulnerability and like turned it into art, which I've like heard the phrase a lot, like you take your vulnerability or insecurities and you turn it into art. So I feel like I just kind of just started to get in the habit of like taking photographs of myself and just kind of just trying to find this self-confidence in myself that I was always struggling with growing up. And then I feel like doing these little projects, these little shoots of just me taking photos of myself with like a self-timer and like being able to like get more and more comfortable and be like, oh, okay, like having a better understanding of like what it's like to be a model yourself and photographing yourself at like a weird, like just certain different shoots. And I feel like it helped me a lot build confidence in myself and kind of understand like, okay, now I know how like it is for a model to be in photo shoots, and also in the sense like I know how like sort of direct people better. And I feel like it helped a lot for sure, because now I feel like a lot of people notice that work. Because then when I put up those like photographs of myself, but I was like, all right, I feel this type of way, but I'm not afraid to show it, and I'm gonna post it on social. Everyone was like, whoa, like this is a whole other side of you. Like no one really knew like that I could be very vulnerable. And I'm like, no, like I just kind of didn't care. I was like, no, I want to just be open to myself about that. And I feel like it helped build myself up and have more confidence and more self-love about me.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy because you say that restart. Before COVID, I was a freaking union carpenter.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
so it's like, yo, I just let something go that I was doing and came back to something old,
totally different. Yeah,
totally different, that has nothing to do with being a carpenter or being a boxer. Like boxing and carpentry does not even go together. How the fuck you know what I mean? So it's like, so I got a little better since COVID. Like I'm actually in a verge right now of like I lost a lot of weight. I was at like 210, 220. Now I went to 150, but now I'm at like 175. I'm at like 175 right now though. Like, you know what I mean? I'm kind of thick of where I want to fight at. Like I'm trying to fight at 150 once everything opens up. Hopefully everything opens up. God willing, ring masters. But COVID definitely gave me more time on my craft. COVID had kind of slowed down the opportunities because of COVID. Like there were supposed to be fights in January that never happened.
Yeah.
So that was another thing that held me up. But it's giving me more time to learn how to defend myself. It's giving me more time to learn how to perfect myself. Giving me more time for mental strength, because this sport is not only about physical, it's about mental as well. Because even if you lose in a fight, and because your mental's right, you know what to do at the certain times of your defense, and you lose in a fight though, but just because you know little things and keeping that mental strong, knowing that I know these little things, that I got to keep defending myself and keep showing that I'm gonna keep pushing through this fight even though I'm losing. That's another thing, is to build the mentality to every day to go running and to get faster and get better. You know what I mean? So that's what COVID did. It got me better. Like the connections with my father came in heavy. Like my dad was training us. Like, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like a normal dude. Like, nah, it was my father. One-on-one, father and son time. We getting to know it's something that's beautiful to defend yourself. You know what I mean? Like,
it's true. It's an art. It's an art form. People use it like capoeira. It's more like a dance.
Yeah.
Even boxing is like a dance too. When you watching it.
I think it's the same dream, but I think it's definitely more actualized and more like focused. Because back when I was a kid, it was just like, I want to get on and rap and make money rapping. And that can look like anything, right? Like I could have got on at 17, 19, 20, 21 and destroyed myself because I didn't know what the fuck to do with, you know, all of that fame and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think what has happened is like, I've kind of gotten to a point where it's like, I'm not too focused on it looking a certain way, right? Like I don't need to be Drake, right? It'd be nice, but at the same time, I don't think I want a career like Drake's. It's too much pressure, right? I don't want to have to drop every year or drop like consistently all the time because that's, you know, my ethic and I have to continue to feed the streets. I would want a career like a Kendrick or a Cole or even a JID, right? Where they can just take their time because their music, you know, because they're not super duper mainstream and their music sits for a while. Yeah. My music has a very long shelf life. Not that Drake's doesn't, because it does too, but it's just that it just seems like he has so much shit that he has to do. That's like, it almost feels like he can never like just, you know, stop. I could be wrong, but ultimately, what I'm saying is that for me, I started to realize that I just need to make it so that it sustains itself and it sustains me. Yeah. So if, you know, saying it doesn't need, I don't need to be a multi-millionaire. I don't need to be signed to Def Jam. Like in the kid, I was like, I gotta get signed to Def Jam. I want to get on Def Jam. Yeah. Now I'm just like, I just want to be able to make the music, make the money, tour, and connect with people. And it's still a dream, but it kind of alters itself as you get older and you start to understand yourself. You start to understand what you don't want around you. You start to understand what you do want around you, right? So that it's really that, you know. Had I got on when I was 20, I'd have had suckers around me. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's true. That's true. That's why it's grateful for these type of moments too, where it's like, if you would have had it, you could have fucked it up, or if you had it, something else would have happened and you would have lost it. So it does make sense. I be thinking about that too a lot. The last question I got for you, you know, now with everything going on, you know, you fortunate enough, which is pretty dope, to have a studio in your crib. Like, what would you say for the new age people who, you know, the younger kids, the younger generations who have that dream, kind of like you, who, you know, they can't really go to the studio now because, you know, everything's going on, or they can't like, I don't even just be with your friends and just make music. What would you say to those who have who are having that hard time really trying to find their sound and being an artist?
So you saying like, you know, young people that are trying to find their sound now, and how like, well, first and foremost, there's no excuse to not get into the studio, even if you don't have one in your crib. You can learn how to, you know what I'm saying? So dudes is making songs on shitty equipment and getting them mixed at high-end places, right? So A$AP Rocky's first mixtape, the shit that blew him up, they made that shit in the crib. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think Pop Smoke's first record in the crib. You know what I'm saying? Like, he went to his man's house and recorded the record. In these days and times, as long as you got the levels and everything right, you can figure it out. And that's the truth. But with that being said, I would just say, as far as finding your voice, you just got to keep digging in yourself, because you might not know what your voice is for a while. You could be on and not have anything to say. So I think ultimately, like, you just want to continue to figure out who you are through your music and through your life, and then you pour that into your music, depending on the type of music you make, you know? Okay. Yeah. I think ultimately it's just about, you gotta explore yourself. It's gonna take some time. Once you get it, you got it though.
I know you said you in your photography you wanted it's like storytelling, but in overall, how when people look at your photos, what do you want them to get out of, like, I guess, who you are as a photographer in all of your photos?
I feel like I want to keep the sense of just who I am as a person, and like, I care very much about the people I work with, and I want to be able to give them voices about who they are. Even if it's just a photograph, I always want to insert something about themselves that gives you an info about that person. It's kind of like Humans of New York a little bit, but it's kind of like a twist, because I said I want to add street fashion, and I feel like I got very much into street fashion because I feel like I looked at all other types of fashion. I was like, I mean, it's cool, elegant dresses, formal, and I'm like, yeah, but like, I feel like being from New York, you're so used to street fashion. So I feel like that's what I always want to keep. Like I want to keep having street fashion be a big part of my work, because I feel like I'm very influenced by street fashion. I love the way how people dress in the street with just sneakers, because they could wear like a really nice outfit, like formal, and then they just put some sneakers, and I'm like, wow, streetwear right there.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like I feel like I really like the sense of like trying to have that in my work, because I really love to shoot street fashion, but at the same time I want to like include people into that, like giving them a voice of who they are and what their kind of like clothes are to them.
To be honest, I write my music for me, but the way when I write my music for me, I understand that there's hundreds and thousands and millions of people just like me that want to hear what I'm talking about. So when I write my music, I write it in that sense. I would say that I do have a lot of like, I got young people that fuck with my shit that heavy, but I also have like a pretty strong group of like older men, you know, in their like 30s and 40s, you know, some in the late 20s and shit like that. So it's wide, but I think it's really just the people that's possible. And I try, and you know, I'm unique to me. I'm only gonna tell my story my way. And that adds some like seasoning on it. It's like throwing a little barbecue sauce on it, because I'm saying it my way.
Voice, which I feel like more people need voices, especially models, because I feel like there's a lot of really nice people out there that are models. I feel like get taken for granted. I feel like they could say so much about themselves, about who they are, how they're building themselves up from the bottom to like getting higher and higher, getting more visibility for themselves.
No, that's dope. That's dope. I think people would appreciate that too, just because it takes a lot to do a picture. Like it really does. And and I don't think photographers get enough credit anymore, just on what we try to do. So keep doing it.
Yeah.
As you are continuing to do your dreams, what's one thing that you just want to keep consistent with yourself as you go along this path?
That right there, being consistent. I want to be consistent while doing the things that I dream of doing. Because not every day I want to get up and run 5 rounds. Not every day I want to get up and go hit the bag and shadow box for about 6-7 rounds. Every day I don't want to go and spar. I don't want to get hit sometimes that day. Maybe the next day I do want to get hit. Maybe I don't. You feel me? So what I can say to myself and to everyone, whoever's going to look at this, is just be consistent in anything you do and just work. Just know that while you're being consistent, you're going to get better. There's no doubt about it. Anything you do, if you do it every day, or if you at least do it for 45 to an hour a day, you're going to get better. You're going to get that better from the first day and to the week or two after. So just staying consistent and knowing that you're going to get better is the answer, I feel like, for myself.
What would you say to somebody now, like trying to do it during this time that, you know, they're just finding themselves in it? Like, what would you say to help them just get a step up?
I feel like a big advice I would give was just always keep trying everything. Like try nature, try portraits, try like street photography. Like just try to like get your feet in the water of everything, just so you can like start breaking to like, oh, like the 3 things you like to do, then the 2 things you like to do, and then to 1 thing. And then I feel like you shouldn't have to limit yourself too, because again, you can be that person that only shoots 1 thing, but at the same time, it's like your photography should be limitless.
Yeah.
You should be able to shoot whatever you want, even if it's like go on a trip. You can shoot like travel photography, or like, I feel like there's so many things to photograph that you don't have to like square yourself to 1 thing. And I feel like, especially, I feel like another advice would be like kind of, and it's something that I'm still learning about myself too, not to compare yourself from other photographers, because at the same time, they're at a different point of their life from how you are. So I feel like you're gonna get to that point of being successful. You're gonna get to that point of like, your photography game is gonna be really high, that you're gonna be able to take amazing, incredible photos. And you just gotta keep progressing, gotta keep shooting, gotta keep working on your craft no matter what, and not around and do nothing. You gotta keep pushing, taking photographs. And then, what's it called? I had one more advice. It lost me for a minute. It came to my head.
It'd be like that too. When you say it, and it's just like, and then it comes back. I know how. I think I noticed it more and more, but I know like in the industry itself, there's a lot of like male photographers, and I feel like that women photographers should be acknowledged a lot more as well. Because even like I had to talk with someone too, and they're in the industry. They made a comment like, "Oh, you know, like photography is very a male-based industry." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like, it just hit me, and I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, since when was it like male-dominated?" I'm like, "I thought it's just for everybody." So I feel like hearing that from that particular person, it made me want to push more, because I know most brands I shoot for, they're all males, like all male brands or like male owners, and I feel like me having that opportunity to shoot for them, knowing that I'm a female, I feel like I take pride in that, because I feel like I want to show them that like I can shoot incredible photos, incredible street like where photographs that like anyone else can take. But I'm just like, oh, but like you guys gave me the opportunity, even though I'm a girl, I can still do incredible photos just like anyone else. So I feel like that's something I like to take pride in, for sure, that like a lot of males are giving me that opportunity. And then they're not just going to other people. Like, they're like, oh no, like this girl takes fire photos. And I'm like, yeah, I take fire photos. And I'm a girl too. Like,